wanted to talk to you today about lease options. I've had a ton of questions about lease options lately, and I really wanted to talk about it because I think it is a fabulous opportunity because it is, just like wholesaling, at times it can be, if structured right, a no money down situation. And in today's market, when it's hard to get those deeply discounted properties that we'd love to have, it is a nice opportunity for you to potentially take over somebody else's payments. And one thing that a lot of people don't even know about is a lot of times on MLS listings, it'll even list whether a house that's for sale if the owners are open to seller financing. So again, that's an option to run by your realtor. Say, hey, when you're searching for listings, would you mind doing a search for homes that the sellers are willing to explore seller financing, okay, or carrying the payment, carrying the notes. Okay, so here are the documentations that you need for a lease option. Number one, I always recommend that you use two documents, a separate option for purchase form and a separate lease form, okay? Because leases, once they're kind of commingled with an option to purchase form, the water gets a little muddy, okay? So get an option form to purchase after an extended point of time, like, hey, I'm going to put $1,000 down, $2,000 down for the option to purchase this in 2 years after I clean up my credit, okay, or after I come up with enough money for a full down payment. Okay, great. And then I'm going to lease it for the next 2 years, 5 years, whatever it may be, at a certain rate, okay? And I like to keep it as simple as that. Some people use the lease money as part of that towards the down payment and stuff. To me, that just confuses the system a lot more. Like to keep things simple, okay? So an option for you to purchase in the future and a lease for the time frame that you are going to be renting, living in the property. Now, my favorite type of lease option is the sandwich lease option. And this is where the no money down really comes into effect or becomes a reality, okay? So with this, what I do is I have a option. Let's say I'm going to option to purchase this house in anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and I'm going to put down $2,000. And I'm going to do a lease for the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever I negotiate for, and I will make a payment of $1,000 every single month. Great. So then what I do is in my lease clause, I make sure that they have an understanding that I can sublease the property as well. Okay, and if they know that I'm an investor, that shouldn't shock them. And then what I do is I go out and I look for somebody that has had a divorce, a loss of job, a foreclosure, or a short sale, and they're trying to get their credit cleaned back up because they'd like to own a house that would be interested in this house, and I do the same thing. I get an option from them. So my previous option was for $2,000 for 3 years, let's say. I'll get a $5,000 option from them for only 2 years. So again, I want to make sure my back end time frame is always less, but my money is always more. Same thing on the lease. My lease was for 3 years at $1,000 a month. So my lease to them is going to be for only 2 years at $1,200 a month. So again, I'm making cash flow. So I made $3,000 up front, and I'm going to make $200 every single month. And then also in that option fee on both things, I'm going to have an agreed upon sales price at the time of sale. So for my first one, I'll say, I'll buy it for you for $100,000, and then I will tell my end buyer that they have to buy it from me for $120,000, or whatever it may be that you end up negotiating out. But always make sure your money on the back end is larger than your money on the front end, and your time frame on the front end is longer than your time frame on the back end.